Well, the fairy dust has officially worn off. Rachel Zegler's tiara is tilting, and the once hyped Snow White reboot is turning into a royal disaster. What was supposed to be Disney's next billion-dollar darling is spiraling into box office infamy. Directed by The Amazing Spider-Man's Mark Webb and featuring Gal Gadot as the chilling evil queen, this remake had all the makings of a hit. Big names, big budget, big expectations. But instead of fairy tale magic, Disney's got a full-blown flop on its hands, and it's getting uglier by the day. Opening weekend was shocking. For a movie with a jaw-dropping $250 million budget, it only managed to rake in $43 million. That's not just a stumble, that's a public meltdown. And the internet? It's absolutely feasting on this flop. Memes, rants, TikToks, they're coming for Rachel with torches and hashtags. And it gets juicier. Rumors are swirling that the film is quietly being yanked from international theaters thanks to its disastrous performance. Honestly, who can blame them? Empty seats don't pay the bills. Comedian Chrissy Mayer lit the match on March 18th with a brutal post. Not good. Saturday night, 7:30 p.m., 0 tickets sold. The screenshot? A ghost town of seats at AMC Tyson's Corner 16, one of the biggest IMAX screens in the DC area. Another post showed only 5 seats filled during prime time. That's not a red flag. It's a 5-alarm fire. And perhaps the most haunting detail of all? Ziegler herself reportedly sat through her own movie in an empty theater, just her and a few friends. No applause, no fans. Just the echo of a $250 million box office bomb. Turns out it was Discount Tuesday, but even slash ticket prices couldn't drag in the crowds. As the film started, one of her friends yelled her name with fanfare, panning the camera from the screen to Rachel herself. She laughed and clapped along, trying to keep things light, but the sea of empty seats around her? Impossible to ignore. Screenshots of barren theaters popped up across the country. And the commentary? Brutal. One user joked someone better start a GoFundMe for Disney just to break even. Critics turned the spotlight directly on Zegler, accusing the award-winning actress of failing to connect with fans, or worse, pushing them away. Even Joe Rogan weighed in. On a recent episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, the podcast giant and comedian Kurt Metzger tore into the whole Snow White debacle. From the eye-watering budget to Zegler's PR blunders, Rogan didn't hold back. He couldn't hide his disbelief. They spent $250 million making that movie? He joked they should have brought in Doge to review the film because that's how absurd the spending was. But the real gut punch came when he pointed out Disney's decision to throw a massive project at a young star without prepping her for the spotlight. Imagine you spend $250 million and you get some young girl and you don't kind of talk to her about like, hey, don't get political, he said. You're young, and I know you have opinions, but this should just be about the movie. According to Rogan, Disney rolled the dice without doing the basic PR homework and paid the price. But let's be real, this disaster didn't happen overnight. It started when Disney cast 23-year-old Zegler as Snow White, and the internet exploded. Critics said she didn't fit the classic image of the pale-skinned princess, comparing the backlash to the frenzy Halle Bailey faced as Ariel. But unlike some stars who kill drama with grace, Ziegler grabbed a gas can and lit the whole thing up. In a now-deleted post, she clapped back with biting sarcasm, "Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for the role." She went on to call her critics losers, obsessed with bloodline purity of a cartoon princess. Instead of cooling the fire, her words sent the internet into meltdown. Even in a 2022 interview with Andrew Garfield, she casually noted she was trending, not for her performance, but because people were angry. And that rage never went away. It wasn't just trolls anymore. Disney fans were upset too. In another 2022 interview with Extra, Zegler threw shade at the 1937 original. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. Yikes. She took a swing at the film that made Disney a legend. Sure, Disney hinted this remake would be more modern, but Ziegler's words made it sound like the OG was a full-on red flag. When she said Snow White wouldn't be dreaming about true love anymore, but instead becoming a leader, fans didn't hear progress. They heard a total rewrite. Critics pounced, accusing her of turning a cherished classic into a Tumblr post. One fan said it best: "If you hate the story so much, why take the role?" And Ziegler didn't back down. In a Vanity Fair interview just a month later, she owned the rumors. "Yeah, it is PC Snow White, because it needed that." Then came the mic drop. "It's an 85-year-old cartoon, and our version is a refreshing story about a young woman who has a function beyond 'someday my prince will come.'" Whether you see her as a feminist icon or a Disney disaster, one thing was clear: the kingdom wasn't buying it. 2 years after her controversial comments, Ziegler tried to clean up the mess. In a 2023 Variety profile, she revealed the backlash had hurt her. "It made me sad." She said she never meant to trash love stories, just highlight a princess who wanted more. But the damage was already done, and it wasn't just fans feeling the heat. Disney was too. After the first trailer dropped, Ziegler posted a thank you to fans, then followed it up with a bold, politically charged statement. Suddenly, it wasn't about a clumsy PR moment. It became a full-on crisis. According to Variety's executive editor Tatiana Siegel, producer Mark Platt flew to New York for a one-on-one with Ziegler. Disney, already facing bad press and shaky numbers, now had to deal with a geopolitical nightmare. Insiders say execs asked her to take down the statement. It was too risky. But Ziegler stood firm. She didn't delete it. She didn't apologize. And Disney? They scrambled. To make matters worse, Gal Gadot, Ziegler's co-star, is Israeli and a former IDF soldier. Ziegler's pro-Palestinian post triggered online pressure against Gadot, forcing Disney to hire extra security just for her. The chaos didn't stop there. Disney allegedly hired a full-time social media handler just to screen Ziegler's posts. And that red carpet premiere you were expecting? Yeah, it never happened. Instead of glitz and glamour, Disney went for a celebratory vibe, code for damage control. No flashy gala, no joint interviews, just PR lockdown. And the press tour? Let's just say it was icy. Ziegler was off in Spain promoting a new song from the movie, while Gadot was nowhere to be seen. Zero Disney magic, all awkward silence. As things unraveled, many began pointing fingers, mostly at Zegler, but not everyone agreed she was to blame. On the same Rogan episode, Kurt Metzger made a sharp point. She's very young. She didn't write the script though, right? He's not wrong. Sure, Zegler stirred the pot, but she didn't greenlight that script, and she certainly wasn't behind one of the film's most head-scratching choices, the dwarfs. Instead of casting actors with dwarfism, Disney used CGI to have Martin Kleba play all seven. Actor Peter Dinklage slammed the move, calling it backward. Even after Disney claimed to consult with the dwarfism community, the backlash didn't let up. Critics argued it was a missed opportunity to actually represent the community on screen. With Snow White in flames, the spotlight turned to Disney's next project, and they panicked. Reports revealed the studio was slamming the brakes on its live-action Tangled remake. Directed by The Greatest Showman's Michael Gracie and written by Jennifer Caton Robinson, the reimagining of Rapunzel was supposed to be the next big hit. But now, it's on pause. So, what's next? Will Disney finally course correct? Or is this the beginning of the end for their live-action fairy tales? One thing's for sure, all eyes are on the next move, and the pressure has never been higher.